Field in New York, the New York Mets play the San Diego Padres. Mets baseball is presented in HD by IOTV. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. How the fortunes of baseball can change over 48 hours. Saturday night, the Mets put on a home run barrage. 4 home runs in the first 3 innings, 2 by Justin Turner. And the Mets won a slugfest from the Atlanta Braves Saturday night, 11-7. Then the calendar page turned to Sunday, and those 2 guys, well, they had a bad day. Jose Reyes pulling up lame of a hamstring injury, and then even worse, Daniel Murphy taken out on a stolen base, suffers a tear in his medial collateral ligament. He's out for the season. And against that backdrop, the Mets came back last night. They were ahead, they were behind, but then a 3-run bottom of the ninth capped by Lucas Duda's game-winning hit led the Mets to a 9-8 victory over the San Diego Padres, and yet another resilient victory for the Mets. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen with Keith Hernandez, and that's really been the story of the Mets in 2011. They're 57-57. They've had every manner of injury go against them and misfortune, and yet when the chips are down, this team certainly has found a number of ways to come back and play as though nothing's wrong.
Well, our open last night, if you recall, was I know how many times could this team pick themselves off the canvas after the 2 devastating injuries on the same game the day before, and they did in great fashion. You can't write a better ending than last night. Down 8-4 in the 8th inning, they got 2. Mike Baxter came off the bench with a pinch hit double. It was his first appearance here at Citi Field, and then the 3 in the 9th. Duda with 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Wright with 3 RBIs. Just a great comeback victory for the Mets.
And so the Mets will see what they can do for an encore tonight. And they'll have Chris Capuano on the mound. Capuano pitched very well his last start. Was in line for a victory before the bullpen let it get away.
Well, his last 4 starts, he had like 3 in a row where he pitched so-so, but his last start he pitched very effectively. He should have got the win in that ball game. He left the game with the lead, and it was an unfortunate no decision for him. He's 9-10, and once again he's looking to even his record, get back to 10-10.
And a left-hander as well for the San Diego Padres. They reach into the minor leagues to bring back Wade LeBlanc to make his 5th start of the year.
Well, Wade LeBlanc started for the Padres all last season, was sent down early after 4 starts in late April. They made some changes in his motion. He pitched very, very well down in Tucson in AAA. He's called up here to make this start.
The rain has stopped. The field is ready for play. The Mets and the Padres getting set at Citi Field, and all the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. Get the best in HD free with IOTV. By Common Ground Alliance, know what's below, call 811 before you dig. By Bud Light Lime, the just right taste of Bud Light with a refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Verizon, America's largest and most reliable wireless network. By North Shore LIJ, hope lives here. And by Audi. Bring your group to Citi Field and share in the excitement of the Mets with family, friends, or coworkers. Call 718-507-TIXX or log on to Mets.com to book your group tickets. Here's your Mets' upcoming schedule. Remember, all Mets games on SNY are available in HD, presented by IOTV, and you can listen to every Mets game on Sports Radio 66 WFAN. Night game tomorrow night with the Padres. Day game starting at noon on Thursday. Then the Mets go to Arizona and San Diego for a 6-game trip. Come home to play 3 with the Brewers weekend after next. The former Brewer, Chris Capuano, getting set for his start tonight as the Mets look to rev up the power again tonight. It's the Mets and the Padres. First pitch coming up from Citi Field. Cameron Maben, who hit third last night, moves up to the leadoff spot. Orlando Hudson slides in cleanup. First time in his career he has hit there. James Darnell makes his major league debut tonight for the Padres. Second-round pick out of the University of South Carolina. Will play third base tonight and bat number 7.
And the veteran Chris Capuano. Pleasant surprise for the Mets. I shouldn't say surprise. Addition to the Mets starting rotation. Nice pickup in the offseason. Coming off a good start, as we said. You can see left-handers. A little trouble with the righties, giving up 14 home runs to the right-hand hitters. That's what's been his problem. He kind of tends to get away from his changeup, but all in all, he has just been fantastic for the Mets. And Alexis Metropolitan defense, well, they play pretty good behind Capuano. You want to know why? He works fast. He throws strikes. He doesn't walk people. Therefore, your everyday players out there are always on their toes. Plus, Capuano is quite an athlete and fields his position outstanding.
That is an amazing number. 3 errors in Capuano's starts, 49 combined errors in the starts of the other 4 members of the Mets starting rotation. Capuano tonight, like Pelfrey last night, will be working with a full week between starts. Pelfrey got off to a good start last night, but then he imploded in the 6th inning when he gave up 3 runs and allowed the Padres to tie the game. Cameron Maybin will lead things off for San Diego. The former Marlin has been going well. He had a good night last night, 3 for 5, a double, a stolen base, hitting a .278 for the year, and leading the charge for a San Diego team that leads the National League in stolen bases.
He swung the bat very well last night. It's the best I've ever seen him swing the bat, and it's going back to a couple years he was at Florida. Of course, he was traded in the offseason from the Marlins to the Pods.
And Capuano gets the night started with a first pitch fastball that misses high. The Padres have been on an offensive tear. This is a team that's 3rd from the bottom in the National League in runs scored, but they've scored 43 runs now in their last 4 games. They swept 3 in Pittsburgh, scoring 35 runs, and then scored 8 runs in a loss last night. So all of a sudden, the Padres have found an offensive tear. Jason Bartlett on deck. And Maybin drops down a bunt. If it stays fair, he can put it in his pocket. And Maybin's got himself a bunt single. So that's how the night begins, with Maybin using his speed as he did in the 1st inning last night.
Well, we talked about Capuano fielding his position, and Capuano falling off being a left-hander to the 3rd base line. You really have to put down a bunt, a perfect bunt, and dare I say drag bunt. Beautiful drag bunt.
Well, last night Cameron Maybin hit 3rd in the order. He batted with 2 out in the 1st, had an infield hit, stole a base, and scored the game's 1st run. Tonight, leading off, he's on with a bunt single. Maybin with 27 stolen bases, and he's been successful his last 21. Jason Bartlett, the batter. Bartlett 2 for 4 last night, drove in 3 runs.
He drove in the big run there. The bases loaded double last night in that 8th inning.
That was against Ryota Igarashi that put the Padres up 8-4 and appeared to bury the Mets, only to see the Mets come back and score 2 in the bottom of the 8th and then 3 in the 9th. Capuano before this year had been very tough to run against. He's given up 7 steals this year. And that's unusual for him as Bartlett takes a strike. Jason Bartlett, the former Tampa Bay Ray, he was part of that Tampa Bay team that played in the World Series against the Phillies. And a big part of that infield. And you see the stolen base numbers against Capuano. He's got a good, not great move to first base. The Padres starter tonight, Wade LeBlanc, has a special left-hander's move to first base. And Bartlett pops up the bunt. Polino lets it drop. Bounces the throw to second, and Tejada able to recover it and get the force play. Well, that was a bit of a comedy, but it results in a force on Maybin, 2-6.
Well, this could have been a double play here. Doesn't run out of the box. That's a double play with a good throw. I tell you what, nice play by Tejada to keep that ball in the infield. Got a run.
I think Polino was contending to the home plate umpire that it should have been
interference.
Yeah, on the part of Bartlett, because he stood there and kind of got in Polino's way.
Well, he's trying to get out of the way there. Polino just kind of made a la-di-da throw.
So Bartlett now at first with 1 out. Here's Jesus Guzman hitting 3rd in the order. And he swings and misses, 0-1. Guzman 2 for 5 last night. He has been red hot. The rookie first baseman has driven in more runs since the All-Star break than anybody in the major leagues. 24 RBIs since the break. He took over at first base when the Padres sent their young first base prospect Anthony Rizzo back to the minor leagues. And Guzman, who's 27 and has kicked around the minors for a long time, getting a chance and making the most of it. Orlando Hudson, unaccustomed to the cleanup spot, in that spot tonight. Bartlett, like everybody else on this San Diego team, has been doing a lot of base stealing, and clearly Capuano, well aware of the Padre game plan. He's going to spend a lot of time checking out on runners tonight. Padres with 133 stolen bases. They're first in the league. The Mets are second. They have 31 fewer steals. Knocked down by Polino. No move by Bartlett. 1-2. Guzman had a taste of the big leagues with the Giants, but getting his first real opportunity to play here in San Diego. His 28th start for the Padres, who have been searching for offense for the last couple of years. Last year they were able to forge a 90-win season despite a rather pop gun offense. Of course, they had Adrian Gonzalez last year, and that made up for a lot of faults.
And of course, Adrian Gonzalez is leading the American League in hitting this year over with the Red Sox. But their pitching was their strength, and they kind of fell apart in the end last year. Boy, they were in the lead most of the season and saw it fall apart in September.
Line to short. Tejada's got it, and Bartlett back to first. So Guzman retired for the second out. So 2 out in the inning, and here's the unlikely cleanup hitter, Orlando Hudson. Hudson, 33 years old, and getting a chance to hit cleanup in a big league game for the first time. Switch hitter, a little better right-hand hitter than left. All 3 of his home runs have come as a right-hand batter this year. And one of those guys like Shane Victorino, who wears the double flap helmet.
Hudson always worn that double. Willie McGee wore the double flap for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, I guess if you're a switch hitter, it saves you from having to have 2 different batting helmets.
Do you like the look?
It's different.
I didn't ask if it was different. I asked a very specific question.
Well, in Orlando's case, it's a little odd because he has a rather large head.
Okay.
I mean, with Victorino, it's like he's wearing earmuffs. But with Hudson, I mean, it's like he has a big pot on his head.
Okay.
But you asked.
Okay.
Kyle Blanks is on deck. And Capuano throws a fastball by Hudson, 1-1.
He's got a lot of plate. Swing and miss.
In fact, the size of Hudson's head has always been a subject of some jocularity amongst his teammates. They nicknamed him Headquarters when he first came up in Toronto. 1-2 now to Hudson.
He's got a large neck, too, if you look at it. Remember Walt No Neck Williams with the White Sox?
The White Sox.
Yes.
Did he really have no neck?
Well, Hudson, a better left-hand hitter than right, hitting only .231 against lefties this year.
Now the 1-2. Bounce down to third. Hot shot for David Wright. He secures it. Now the one-hop throw, and Duda hangs on to end the inning. And David Wright knocked it down, secured it, and made the play. And Duda sharp at the other end on the backhand pick to get Capuano through the first. Angel Pagan leads off the home first inning against left-hander Wade LeBlanc. Here's your Mets starting lineup, brought to you by Geico. Pagan in the leadoff spot for the second straight day with Reyes out. And LeBlanc falls behind him 2-0.
Well, Wade LeBlanc, was 8-12 last year for the Padres as a starter. Got off to a tough start this year. Made a couple of adjustments in his windup. Evidently, he is going over his head with both hands. Found more rhythm, and he really pitched well down in Tulsa. And here he is back up.
So he's got that full hands over the head delivery, which he did not have before. And he says he's picked up a mile or two on his fastball, although he's not throwing particularly hard early in this game. And he's behind on Pagan 3-1. And Angel gets under one to left field. Back goes Blanks, and he'll have room at the edge of the track. One long out. So Pagan, who led off the first inning with a home run last night, made a bid for one.
Well, you can see he's kind of turned sideways to home and doesn't have much of a back step. Very upright. Let's see if he drives off that back leg. Not much.
Blanc just turned 27 years old a couple of days ago.
Lake Charles, Louisiana.
There's Justin Turner, 2 for 4 last night, including a big hit in the 9th inning rally against Heath Bell after a long turn at bat, then aggressively going to third on the wild pitch that set up the game-winning hit.
Boy, Heath Bell did not have it last night. He could not command his curveball and had come in with his fastball.
Keith, I was shocked to read the quotes from Bud Black and from Heath Bell last night, both saying that Heath had great stuff. Those were the quotes.
He couldn't get his curveball.
It was, you're right. And I was shocked that was their reaction. Yeah, they got a couple of seeing eye hits. I made 1 or 2 bad pitches. That's not the way it looked from here. 2-2 now to Turner.
Well, I thought one of the big plays in the game was the outfielder Blanks botching the double off of the bat of Mike Bartlett. Pinch hitting. Baxter, excuse me. Pinch hitting. That was a fly ball and should have been caught.
And Blank said as much, that he should have caught it. As Maben settles under this fly ball. So 2 batters, 2 fly ball outs for LeBlanc in the first inning.
And we'll take a look at the Coors Light San Diego Padre defense, and that's a lot of errors right there for Mr. Bartlett. Maben gives them good defense in center field. He can run, and Hudson, of course, is a Gold Glover.
So here's David Wright with 2 out and nobody on. David had a big night last night. A 2-run homer that gave the Mets a 4-1 lead early. And then an RBI hit in the 9th and wound up scoring the winning run. And as he scored the winning run, running his helmet into the knee of the home plate umpire, Marty Foster.
And there was no need to slide. He was safe by a mile. I gather he just didn't get any help from the on-deck circle. And David, of course, you saw the batting average. He's up over 270. When he came off the disabled list, he was hitting down the low 220s. So he's been on the rise, swinging the bat great.
Fly ball center field, and so Cameron Maben makes 2 putouts in the inning, and the Mets are down 1-2-3 against LeBlanc. On to the second at Citi Field. Mets and Padres, no score.
Kyle Blanks will lead things off. The enormous Mr. Blanks was 2 for 3 last night.
He's a big man. 272 pounds. All 7 of them?
So Blanks leads off against Capuano and takes a slider for ball 1. Chris making his 22nd start. He was having a rough go of things over a 3-start span until his last start against the Marlins. All he gave up in 6 innings against Florida last Tuesday night was a pair of Omar Infante home runs.
And that seems to be where he I don't want to say hits a wall, but he gets into trouble after that 6th inning, Gare. And I think the Mets fund, there's Dan Worthington, pitching coach, recognize that. And I think you'll probably see him going no more than 7.
Here's the good changeup from Capuano, 1-2.
One thing's for sure, Capuano's in total top-notch physical shape. He is a hard worker. He is fit as a fiddle.
And for Chris, this, if he's able to, make it from start to finish, is going to be the first time that he pitches a full season in the major leagues since 2006. Last year was his comeback season. He worked primarily out of the bullpen, made 9 starts, but only worked 66 innings. Coming back from Tommy John surgery. Popped up, shallow center. Pagan taking charge. And Blanks retired, 1 away. So it would be a huge accomplishment for Capuano to be able to, put up 175, 180 innings and pitch a full season this year. And certainly give the Mets a lot of promise toward what he might be able to accomplish next year.
He's going to get over 30 starts if he stays healthy the rest of the way. We got 6.5 weeks left in the season, approximately. How many games was it, Gary?
48, including tonight. Here's Aaron Cunningham getting his first appearance in the series. Cunningham, the former Oakland Athletic, picked up in a trade for Kevin Kuzminoff. In fact, in that same trade, the Padres got Scott Hairston before the 2010 season. See that Powerball jackpot?
Oh, I may have to go just take a chance, get a stab.
Hey, you never know.
Go right to the bank with that. That's in silver.
Cunningham called up a week ago. He's got 25 at bats for the Padres this year. And Capuano falls behind him 3-0. Cunningham originally drafted by the White Sox back in 05. Still trying to get himself established. And Capuano walks him on 4 pitches. So the first walk given up by Chris. And the Padres have a 1-out base runner. And that'll bring up James Darnell, who is making his major league debut. He played most of this season in Double-A in San Antonio. And then 26 games in Triple-A for Tucson, 23 home runs overall, so he's got some power. He was a college teammate of Reese Havens, who was a high draft pick by the Mets a couple of years ago. Havens had trouble staying healthy. Darnell has beat him to the show. And he pulls the first pitch foul.
San Ramon Valley, California High School. Went to the University of South Carolina. You're right. Very good.
He is the 10th Padres player to make his major league debut this season. So they have tested a lot of new folks. Rob Johnson, the catcher, on deck.
I don't know if this interests our fans at home, but he's also an avid trumpet player.
Is that right? Maybe he could trumpet the national anthem one of these days. He checks the swing, a ball and a strike to Darnell. Darnell playing third base. The Padres lost their regular third baseman, Chase Headley, to a finger injury this past weekend. And there's every chance that Headley will miss the rest of the season, which, you know, with the Mets playing so many games with the Padres over the next 10 days, takes away innumerable opportunities for Keith to invoke Blazing Saddles references.
That's true, but I'm not going to go on the road trip with you.
Well, then it will be Ronnie who will be cost those opportunities.
That's right. Ronnie's in the studio tonight, right?
Because we all know that Harvey Korman's character in Blazing Saddles was not Hedy Lamarr.
Headley.
That's Headley.
I particularly love that scene when he was hiring Madeline Kahn to seduce the Cleavon Little character, and I've about died laughing in that scene in her hotel room. That movie was spotty, but it had its moments.
I liked Alex Karras punching the horse.
Yes. Mongo.
2-2 to James Darnell in his first big league at bat, and he goes down swinging on the changeup. So Darnell gets his first taste of big league pitching, and Capuano gets his first strikeout.
Good change, good sinking change. Gets Darnell out in front.
So 2 out. Cunningham still at first. Here's Rob Johnson, the catcher, the former Seattle Mariner, who was born and raised in Anaconda, Montana. Not too many big leaguers from the state of Montana, much less from Anaconda.
And there's no anacondas in Montana, folks. I've been there.
You've been to Montana?
Oh, of course, several times.
You're a Big Sky guy?
I like it up there. It's a beautiful country. It's very spiritual up there. Seriously, I'm being very serious.
Johnson hitting a 204. And a changeup to start him off. Well, he left Anaconda, Montana, did Johnson, to play college ball at the University of Houston. So he went from Big Sky to big humidity.
He went from dry climate to insufferable heat.
You've been to Houston too, I know.
Yes, I have. We all know that's where it all began for me. Mom and Dad met there in Houston. Fell in love. Look what happened. Gary and Keith.
That's very important.
But not you, not Gary Cohen.
I understand that. But without you, there'd be, no us. 0-2 to Johnson. See, I thought when we referenced Houston, you were going to start talking about the pumpkins on the train.
No. Well, it rained like heck before this game, and it's reflective here. A lot of people stayed home because of the weather. It was just downpouring. But with all this new stuff they got underneath the field now, the field drained so quickly you wouldn't even know it rained.
Well, they pulled the tarp a little after 5:30. Did a little bit of work to get the infield ready, and the field is in perfect shape.
It stopped raining around an hour before the game, and they had the grounds crew once again did an outstanding job, had this field ready to play on game time.
0-2 to Rob Johnson. And it's bounced to Tejada, who slides over and gets the force play to end the inning. So a walk and one left. We head to the bottom of the second at Citi Field. Duda set to lead off, no score. Your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Check in using At Bat at Citi Field to receive special offers. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Mets.com for details. Lucas Duda, fresh off his heroic performance in the bottom of the ninth last night, leads off in the top of the second for New York. And, you know, it's somewhat reflective of the fact that Duda's status has risen, that he is in the lineup tonight against the left-hand pitcher. Certainly, Terry had the option of playing Nick Evans against Wade LeBlanc, but Duda rewards his confidence with a base hit his first time up.
Well, Lucas stays in on left-handers, has a good knowledge of the strike zone, and gets tougher with 2 strikes. That's what I like about him there. He stays in, drives that shoulder right at the pitcher, got himself a hanger.
So the Mets have their first base runner of the night. Now Jason Bay, who's hit in 10 straight games, hit a home run last night, his 9th of the year, and his 200th career home run. Just the 3rd Canadian-born player to hit 200 home runs in his career. And he takes a strike from LeBlanc. Jason's got his batting average up to 250. That's been a hard climb to get there.
Boy, it's been a monumental climb emotionally for him. This has had to have been a very draining season for Jace.
Well, these last couple of weeks are the best that he has looked at a stretch since he joined the Mets last year. Now the question is how well he can sustain that over the last 7 weeks of the season.
Build on it. You want to come up and in with the fastball.
Scott Hairston getting the start in right field against the left-hander tonight, waiting on deck.
Backdoor breaking ball.
And he got him. Bay is down looking, and LeBlanc has his first strikeout.
Kind of whipped it around that corner. Good pitch. That's that pitch, Gary. We talked about it all the time. You know, it just starts 3-4 inches outside. It looks like it's going to be a ball and sneaks in at the last minute.
So now Hairston with 1 out and 1 on. Scott starting for just the 21st time this year. His last start was on Sunday, and that was memorable for him, not because he went 0 for 5, but because for the first time in many years he got a couple of innings at second base. Scott first came up as a second baseman with Arizona, but he had not played much second base in almost a decade before the game Sunday when Murphy and Reyes got hurt and the Mets were forced to scramble. And scramble they did. At one point, Terry Collins moved 5 different players from one inning to the next without making a substitution. Just changed their positions, trying to tighten things up. And that's how David Wright ended up at shortstop for the first time in his career. Ball, 2 balls and a strike to Hairston. It's going to be interesting to see how Terry handles the right field situation now. If he's going to play Duda at first base most of the time, he's got the 2 veterans, Harris and Hairston. Harris played last night, Hairston tonight. Terry said he's going to mix in Mike Baxter tomorrow night and give him a start in right field.
Well, just they want to take a look at that young man. You got Pridey also in the mix, so it looks like Pridey's going to be relegated to the bench and coming off the bench. So Met Brass wants to take a look at this young man. There's Jason right there.
I think all things being equal, when you get to this point in the season, you'd like to play the younger players rather than the more veteran players. But I guess the question is, when do you get to the point where there are too many young players in the lineup? I mean, you've already got Tejada playing every day now and Turner playing every day now. And do you want to have, you know, half your lineup be guys who are trying to prove themselves, or are you better off striking a balance there?
Well, you know, you've got almost 7 weeks left in the season. This has been a very positive skipper down there, and Terry Collins. You know, you don't want your players to read into it as if okay, the season's over. We've lost Reyes and Murphy now. We're throwing in the towel. We're going to play the young players. So, you know, it's kind of a dicey situation for Terry down there in that Met dugout. But to be perfectly honest with you, I'd give these young players a look. I mean, Tejada's going to be out there because of one reason. Reyes is hurt. There's no two ifs, ands, and buts about that. Turner's earned its keep at second base. He's been really, really steady for this ball club. He has had an outstanding year for the Mets, something they didn't expect. And, you know, Duda's going to play.
Well, at this point, Duda has become an important piece of this lineup. And better every day, and he nearly gets himself picked off. He was not running on the first 3-2 pitch, but it looked like he was starting to go there and almost got caught.
Well, I bet you LeBlanc wishes he had put his A-game move on over there at the first base, because he just didn't expect Duda to have a chance to pick him off 3-2.
Not going. Hook to left field. Deep. Back goes Blanks near the wall. He reaches out and makes the grab. So Blanks, who couldn't make the catch on Baxter's ball last night, makes a nice play here to take an extra base hit away from Hairston.
Got to negotiate the wall right there and didn't show any fear. Duda thinking that it might fall. It's a little bit out of control, but it's okay going around the base.
At least he touched second on his way back.
Correct. We've seen Major League players forget.
So 2 out. Duda still at first. Here's Ronnie Polino, and he takes up and away.
Well, he knows he just got out in front of that changeup.
Polino 0 for 3 last night. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly, and he pokes one into right field. That'll fall for a hit. Duda can go first to third, and the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 down. So Polino hitting one right off the end of the bat, has himself a right field single.
Well, we've seen Polino do this a lot, go the other way. I'd just like to see him pull more, but he's a veteran catcher. He is what he is. He does not like to pull, does not like to look inside too much. I think he's got a big guy, got a lot of power, but he just wants to go the other way, feed it out there.
So Ruben Tejada comes up with runners at the corners with 2 down. Tejada in his first game back from the minor leagues last night went 1 for 4, a sharp single his first time up.
We'll take a look at the free. We'll freeze it on the swing, and it's not really an inside-out swing on the Coors Light freeze cam. We got that one in, didn't we?
Well done. Perfectly executed. National League average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, 226. So the Mets have outpaced that.
Well, the Mets had a string of getting 2-out hits. Well, they were red hot last month.
Well, remember when they scored those 54 runs in a 4-game stretch? It seemed like they were getting every run with 2 outs. And Tejada hits it foul, 1-2. Ruben hitting 250 in the big leagues this year. He's had 172 at bats. He was hitting 246 at Buffalo. Terry Collins was talking about Tejada today. He said, look, I think that Ruben Tejada is a big league player. He's a big league shortstop. He's had a full major league season under his belt, combining last year and this year. But he said, you can't forget, he's only 21. And he takes the call, third strike. And LeBlanc knocks him out to end the inning. Second strikeout for Wade LeBlanc as he painted that one on the inside. And it keeps the game scoreless after 2. Look now at Amtrak.com. No score as we go to the third inning. Chris Capuano's given up one hit over the first two. A bunt single by Cameron Maben in the first. The pitcher Wade LeBlanc will lead off. 0 for 5 this year, but a pretty good hitter. Lifetime .243 in the major leagues. It'll be LeBlanc, then Maben, and Jason Bartlett for the Padres in the third. Padres sitting at the bottom of the National League West. The two teams at the top both lost last night. The Giants a half game up on the Diamondbacks. Giants were shut out by Charlie Morton and the Pirates, who finally got a victory after losing 10 in a row. And Arizona was waxed by Wandy Rodriguez and the Houston Astros 9-1. Slow ground ball. Tejada charges. And with the pitcher running, gets LeBlanc one away. So it's come down to a two-team race in that NL West. Diamondbacks had a chance to overtake the Giants last night, couldn't do it, and still sit a half game behind there and 4.5 back in the wild card. Mets will be in Arizona this weekend to get a look at the Diamondbacks, who, when they came to Citi Field earlier this season, looked awful.
Their pitching staff was in disarray. I did not have that series. I watched on TV and I went, oh my God, this is not a good team.
They will have their two best starters going up against the Mets Friday and Saturday. Ian Kennedy, who is 14-3, the former Yankee, and then Daniel Hudson, who's gone 11-8 for Arizona, goes against the Mets on Saturday. And then Jason Marquis, who, if you'll remember, was scratched from his start against the Mets in Washington, finally will get to face the Mets in Arizona. Cameron Maben had a bunt single his first time up. The big thing that the Diamondbacks are battling now is trying to figure out how to replace Stephen Drew, their fine shortstop, who broke his ankle and is out for the year. But they've got a good offensive team. And they've got the former Met J.J. Putz closing games, and he's resurrected his career.
Maben hit third last night. Really not a third hitter, even though he had a nice night, 3 hits. He's more of a leadoff hitter. 27 stolen bases. Can fly.
Right at the second baseman turn, and quickly there are 2 out. So Maben with the soft line drive. 2 up and 2 set aside by Capuano in the third, and now Jason Bartlett. Bartlett with Maben at first base tried to sacrifice, popped up the bunt. Ronnie Polino, about 2 feet in front of home plate, picked it up, but was a little distracted with Bartlett standing there and made a poor throw to second base. Fortunate to get a force play on what otherwise could have been a double play. And when you think back on that play and how much he threw Maben out by at second base, he probably could have tagged Bartlett before he made that throw.
Yes, Bartlett didn't run. But a lot of times when you're thinking on your feet like that, it's tough to make those snap decisions when you're looking up in the air for a ball. So it happened to me once. I had a hard hit ground ball hit so hard I was playing behind Jose Cruz in the Astrodome. And someone, I forget who, Alan Ashby, doesn't matter, hit a bullet right at me, but it was in front of Jose in his lead, and he had to stop and let the ball go by, and I just stuck my hand at my glove out, and look what I found. I just caught it, and when I caught it, I was hit so hard, Jose was just standing right in front of me. I could have tagged him, but I threw to second base. We didn't get the double play. Those unusual plays when you got to think on your feet.
Well, as strike 3 call, Bartlett down looking. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Capuano, his first of the night, his second strikeout. Middle of the third at Citi Field, no score. for consecutive games with a run batted in. Who's got it? Chris Capuano, who does not have it, leads off the bottom of the third. Capuano 3 hits this year. Had a base hit in his last start. Met pitchers have picked up the pace a little bit, swinging the bat after what had been just a dreadful first half of the year. I know they've been doing a lot of trying to fix that, taking a lot of batting practice as a group, and especially working on the bunting.
Pitchers always, my career, oh boy, tied him up with that breaking ball. You better get over.
Guzman fumbles it, and Capuano's safe. Well, one thing you know about Capuano, he runs those balls out, and they put pressure on Guzman on that little dribbler.
You can give him a base hit here. That's a half swing, tied up, and watch the hustle. Why did he didn't have to barehand it?
Well, we saw Guzman last night. He is not a polished first baseman by any means, and they do give Capuano a base hit.
A lot of times pitchers monkey around in the batting cage over a whole career. They have who hits the most home runs. It's all fun and games, but you might be able to help yourself. You should just try to make contact, get base hits, and work on hitting line drives and your bunting.
Angel Pagan hit a deep fly ball to left his first time up. He has not hit a home run from the right side of the plate this year. All 5 of his home runs have come left-handed. And there's a generous strike for LeBlanc, and it's 1-1. Mets have 3 hits now off Wade LeBlanc, brought up from the minor leagues, although he went down to the minor leagues after his last start for the Padres and never pitched in Tucson. His last start came 9 days ago against Colorado, and then they sent him down. And then when they put a pitcher on the disabled list yesterday, Ernesto Frieri, they brought LeBlanc back to make the start tonight. So he has not pitched in 9 days.
He's your typical left-hander, not overpowering. Got a change-up, moves the ball in and out. There's his career numbers with the Pods.
Last year, a mainstay in the San Diego rotation, unable to hold a spot this year. Making only his 5th start of the year for San Diego.
The Padres have 3 of their starting 5 on the disabled list.
Well, most importantly, Clayton Richard, the left-hander they got from the White Sox in the Jake Peavy deal. He has a chance to be something pretty good, but has been unable to stay healthy. On the outside corner, and Pagan caught looking. That's 3 strikeouts for LeBlanc, and they've all been on-call third strikes.
Well, 1 was a fastball in, and 2 this pitch right here. Backdoor slider to the right-hander.
So 1 out and 1 on. Here's Justin Turner, who flied to center his first time up. Turner hitting at 272, but he's hitting only 230 against lefties, which is a little surprising.
Young hitters always, you stay in against the your righty lefty. You kind of tend to stay in more.
Line into center field, and Maben reaching down and makes the tumbling catch. Nicely done by Cameron Maben for the second out.
Well, you're starting to see defensively the opposing team starting to play Turner a little bit shallow, particularly in right field here. Line drive hitter. So that was a rob right there.
So 2 out of the inning. Capuano still at first, and now David Wright, who flied to center his first time up. David is likely to remain a Met for a long time to come, and he's going to own many lines in the Mets record book. But he's bearing down on 1 right now. David, for his career, has 2,044 total bases, with 3 more, like a triple in this at bat. He would catch Ed Kranepool for the all-time club record in total bases.
Really? Well, he's going to be there.
maybe by the end of tonight. But he's going to own a large chunk of that record book all by himself.
He and Reyes are going to have their names etched in all the press books.
Well, we don't know if Reyes will be here beyond this year, but pretty good bet that David will. Certainly hope that Reyes will.
I agree.
Right now, Reyes is focused on trying to get that hamstring healthy and getting himself back in the lineup. And you have to figure if it took 3 weeks the last time, it's going to take at least 3 weeks this time.
Well, he only missed 15 games last time.
Of course, he had the All-Star break in the middle. Check swing, takes it for a call, third strike. So LeBlanc gets right looking at the changeup. 4 strikeouts from LeBlanc, including 2 in the inning. And all have been on call, third strikes. 3 scoreless innings at Citi Field. Today's Pepsi Max Field of Dreams legendary opponent.
Well, Gary, with the Padres in town, fitting to take a look at Dave Winfield and his terrific career. What an athlete he was. You guys have talked about it plenty of times before, coming out of the University of Minnesota, where in 1973 he was drafted in the NBA by the Atlanta Hawks. He was drafted in Major League Baseball by the San Diego Padres. He was drafted in football by the Minnesota Vikings. He never played college football. That's how good of an athlete Dave Winfield was. In fact, he decided to go with baseball, never played in the minor leagues. Padres brought him right to the major leagues. The next year in 74, he hit 20 home runs. He was off and running to a great career. But it's interesting that later in his career, looking for that World Series before maybe he was done, he went to his old friend, roommate, when he was with the Padres, Cito Gaston, who, of course, was the manager of the Blue Jays. They went on to win the World Series, so he got that World Series before he left. This is a shot, Gary, to deep left. Speaking of left, is off the wall. Bay will field it and fire in. He's got a shot here, but not in time. It's a double. Just to finish on Winfield, he's a candidate, by the way, on the Pepsi Max Field of Dreams roster. You go to MLB.com/Pepsi Max. Your chance to play with the MLB legends. Guys, check out the replay.
Well, Jesus Guzman is a very impressive hitter.
He's fastball down and in, turned on it. Bay, perfect throw.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Guzman getting a chance to play because the prospect, Anthony Rizzo, whom they got for Adrian Gonzalez, was not really ready. They sent him back down. Guzman getting to play every day, and he's just been wearing it out. He now has a 10-game hitting streak. Orlando Hudson swings and misses at a changeup, 0-1.
And we'll take a look at the IOTV pitch differential, and he got it inside more than where Paulino set up. both down.
Hudson grounded out to third his first time up. And Capuano comes inside with that fastball, 1-1.
You know, getting back to Dave Winfield, he was one of the best players I played against of my generation. He had two of the biggest right fielders in baseball, Dave Parker with the Pirates and Winfield with the Padres, and both similar players, both 5-tool, both could fly, both were great defensive players, both had great arms and accurate arms. You could say someone had a great arm, but they can miss a cutoff man or be wild. But Parker and Winfield had accurate arms. They both could steal bases. They both could hit. I mean, Parker was a better average hitter and hit with power also. But Winfield played in a much bigger park at Jack Murphy, much like this park with the high walls back then, Gare.
And, of course, Winfield then came to New York to play for the Yankees and got rather unfairly tagged as Hudson hits it out to center field. Tagging is Guzman. Pagan back, and it's over his head. Guzman to third is being waved around. And the relay throw to the plate is offline, backed up nicely by Capuano. It's an RBI double for Orlando Hudson, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead. So Hudson, cast as the cleanup hitter for the first time in his career, acts like one and drives in the first run of the game.
Pagan's playing very shallow. You can see him right there, and he got on his horse right away. And that's a fly ball. Just got caught with his pants down a little bit there, playing too shallow. I didn't mean that literally.
Not like Steve Lyons.
That's a one-handed shot, too. I mean, he let go with one hand. And just playing too shallow. And look, this is Ronnie would be very happy about this. He's backing up home.
Good thing he was, otherwise Hudson would have been a third.
Exactly.
Now Blank swings and misses. So back-to-back doubles for Guzman and Hudson, and a 1-0 San Diego lead. Blank's fly to center his first time up.
Yeah, just to get back to Winfield real quick, you mentioned unfairly tagged in New York and played in that World Series with New York, where the Yankees got, I believe, against the Dodgers, they got beat. And there's the old hat. Oh, what an ugly uniform that was. We won't go there. Winfield did not have a good World Series. So the monkey off his back was getting that World Series in Toronto and getting the World Series, and he got the big hit in the 7th game.
Swing and a miss, and Blanks is down on strikes. Third strikeout for Capuano. That's the first out of the inning.
Change up.
It also hurt Winfield. Remember in that World Series in '81, he was 0 for 20.
And
he
asked for the ball.
He asked for the ball.
Their team is losing, ready to get eliminated, and he gets his base hit. He's 1 for whatever he was in the team. There's Jose. Always smiling. And he asked for the ball.
Yep.
That was a major error of judgment.
But 1 for 22 in that World Series. And that's what led George Steinbrenner to label him Mr. May, and then the whole Howie Spirit thing, and it was just a total and utter mess for Winfield, although he certainly played well enough in New York. Cunningham fouls it off. Cunningham drew a walk his first time up, but it certainly ended well for Dave Winfield, rightfully voted into the Hall of Fame.
3,000 hits.
James Darnell in his first big league game waiting on deck.
He played in obscurity down there in San Diego. They weren't very good teams.
Capuano head on Cunningham, 0-2. Well, there was a long time when people didn't believe that baseball was going to survive in San Diego. They felt with the location of the team, with, as they used to say, the desert to the east, Mexico to the south, the ocean to the west, and the Dodgers to the north, that they would never be able to draw enough.
I was always hopeful they'd keep that club there. That was one of the great cities to go to. Now it's grown a lot, but it was a small, sleepy town. Remember, there was nothing to do downtown Downtown was not refurbished like it is today.
It was an old Navy town.
It was an old Navy town. A lot of tough people in that downtown area.
But that has completely changed. Here's the 1-2. It's pulled toward the hole, and Cunningham has a base hit. Hudson to third. He's being waved around. Here comes the throw to the plate by Bay. May get him. He's safe. Hudson slides in safely, and it's 2-0 San Diego. Good throw by Bay, but not good enough, and Cunningham drives in the second San Diego run.
Strong throw by Bay, and what's most important, all you kids watching, runner can't advance to second because Wright could cut it off. That is a perfect throw, just too much speed with Hudson.
And Polino tried to keep his leg there to block the plate, but Hudson was able to get the plate.
And notice Capuano in the foreground there, backing up again. Those are all the little things.
So Hudson drives in a run with a double, scores on the hit by Cunningham, 2-0 San Diego. Now James Darnell with his second major league at bat. Darnell struck out his first time up. Well, what really turned the franchise in San Diego was 1984, when they, put together that wonderful year and overcame a 2-0 deficit to beat the Cubs in the league championship series, and went on to play the Tigers in the World Series that year. And I think that revitalized or vitalized a franchise that really was going nowhere up until that point.
They got a beautiful new ballpark now, but I was very fond of Jack Murphy.
Double play ball right at Tejada. And the Mets turn it 6-4-3 to end the inning. Jack Murphy, of course, the brother of longtime broadcast partner Bob Murphy. 2-0 San Diego in the fourth. With an RBI, well, that would be Mike Piazza. 15 consecutive games he had at least one run batted in.
Mike, a lot of times in that lineup had to be the guy, and that was a pretty good ball club Valentine had there. As far as that infield was solid. The outfield was shaky.
Lucas Duda leads off in the home fourth inning, had a base hit to right his first time up, and he takes a strike. Let's check in with Kevin.
Well, a couple of useless facts on Lucas Duda for you guys. It was funny, last night the clubhouse guys were kind of poking fun at Lucas for his personality. Jason Bay referred to him as a turtle. where the head kind of pokes out of the shell and pokes back in the shell. David Wright said, well, just let me know when he starts talking. All in good fun. They really like this guy. Duda had a breakthrough moment last week. Willie Harris just rides him every single day. And so Lucas decided to pick him up and throw him in the trash can last week as a little moment of revenge. So he's coming out of the shell, and he has another base hit here. He continues to hit. But that was kind of the point. Willie was trying to get him, to open up and have a little fun and enjoy things like that. And he's got this dry sense of humor. In his locker, there is a picture of a liger. Napoleon Dynamite fans will know it. It's a lion-tiger mix. And the reason that came about, he was having a conversation with Travis, the clubhouse guy, one day, and just random fact. He said, hey, did you know that you need a ladder to feed a liger? So sure enough, Travis went online and printed out a picture of a liger, and now Lucas has it in his locker. And some say that he kind of resembles a liger with that big, long, shady hair. Who knows?
Well, I know this. The more he keeps hitting, the more he will continue to come out of his shell.
He's a very quiet young man, very respectful. I know exactly what Willie Harris is trying to do. He's trying to draw out the personality, make him relax, feel the part. I mean, he's like the old rookies that were called up where you just came up and you were scared of your own shadow. You just kept your mouth shut. You were a plebe.
Keith, David Wright said that last night. He said, you really root for a guy. He's a quiet guy, but he really knows his place. He respects the game. He respects the clubhouse.
And, of course, Willie Harris had a hand in the whipped cream pie during the post-game interview for Lucas. Very nice.
Well, it was quite a moment last night for that young man.
Well, with his 2 hits tonight, he now has hits in 5 straight at-bats. Slow ground ball, tough play off the mound for LeBlanc, and he has no play. An infield hit for Jason Bay. He's now got an 11-game hitting streak, and the Mets have the tying runs on base.
Swing and bunt, just like Maben's bunt earlier. Nothing you can do about that.
So the Mets have the table set in the bottom of the 4th, and now Scott Hairston, who hit one to the fence in left field that Kyle Blanks made a nice catch on his first time up. We'll get an opportunity here with first and second and nobody out. Mets now have 5 hits off LeBlanc, who has not walked anybody, struck out 4. And he paints the outside edge, 0-1.
Well, there he is.
Talk about Hall of Fame San Diego Padres. Nobody bigger than Tony Gwynn.
8 batting champions in the National League. Great player, great hitter. Played against him for many years.
3,141 hits, and Hairston drives it deep left center, back toward the wall, and it's off the fence and in play. Duda scores, Bay to third. Hairston pulls in with a long double that nearly made it out of the ballpark. It cuts the Padre lead to 2-1.
Well, Bay almost overran Duda here. Bay reads it perfectly. In the first at bat, if you recall, Harrison just missed one. Well, he got it here. He made the adjustment. Played nicely off the wall by Maben. But Bay read it beautifully. He broke from the get-go.
So now a run is in, second and third, and nobody out with the Mets down by a run. The infield back for Paulino. And Ronnie takes the changeup blown away.
Well, watch Bay here on your right. He reads it. Duda a little slow reading it, slowing down. He's got to pick it up. Bay, they're going to send Bay, going to run him over. You don't want that.
Paulino slices one. That'll go out of play. Well, I wonder if Duda had gotten a little better break whether Bay could have scored on that.
Well, Duda's got to get further down the line. And I know it's a little more difficult to park here to read because it's such a big park.
Well, here's one would have had a home run in virtually every other ballpark.
And Harrison continues to shine when he's in the starting lineup.
Paulino had a right field hit his first time up. And Ronnie takes one at the knees for a strike, 1-2.
Well, here's your IOTV pitch differential. He gets it away, even further away. But I just think Harrison was just sitting on that pitch.
Well, the problem when you're a guy like LeBlanc, who doesn't throw harder than 88 miles an hour, is anything belt high, it's going to be pretty hittable.
He better get it on the corners and down with some little movement. He's got to be in and out.
And a full count to Paulino with Ruben Tejada on deck. So the Mets have broken through against LeBlanc after the Padres scored 2 in the top of the inning. And now the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position with nobody out.
I just can't say enough for Bay's base running ability. Jason is such a good base runner.
3-2, and Paulino lifts it to left field. Hit well. Back goes Blanks to the warning track to reel it in. Bay tags at third. He'll come in to score to tie the game. A long sacrifice fly for Ronnie Paulino. And it's 2-2.
Oh, this is the ballpark here. Hit it. This is a big ball yard. This ball was hit pretty well. It's out of most ballparks. And Harrison did not tag, was late on the read. He should have been on third. We'll take a look at what he's doing. Now, it's okay to go right there. Just stay put. Don't go back and forth. Isn't he looking at third base? And as a result, he looks back at third and watches the runner there, which he has no reason to look at the runner at third. Yep. The runner's going to tag him and go home. So your focus is on the ball. And once you see that the outfielder's camped under it, then you go back and tag up.
So instead of being at third base with one out with that go-ahead run, he's still at second. And Ruben Tejada, the batter. Ruben took a call third strike his first time. And the changeup misses for ball one. So the Mets have responded with 2 of their own after the Padres took a 2-run lead in the top of the inning.
Oh, I hear a faint "Let's Go Met" chant. Here we go.
And Tejada hits it out to right center field. Over comes Cunningham to make the call on the catch. This time Hairston does tag and takes third, but now there are 2 out.
Yep, and there's a difference in the third run right there. I hate to point the finger at Scott, but it should be 3-2.
And Chip Hale's talking about just that right now, about how he should have handled it on the previous play. So now 2 out, the go-ahead run at third, and Capuano, the batter. He had an infield hit his first time up, a little dribbler to the right side that he was able to beat out when Guzman couldn't play it cleanly. And he takes a strike. Capuano looking for his first run batted in of the season.
Oh, threw that fastball by him. That's the second time he's tied Capuano up and in. I think you got to stay in there. No offense, Chris. You're a pitcher.
Hairston at third and 2 down. And Capuano lays off that slider. The ball and 2 strikes. Angel Pagan would be next. Capuano keeps himself alive.
Oh, they started that game in Florida after that rain delay, just starting.
So last year they're going to have to deal with that.
We go back one time in September, right? Or is it August? Doesn't matter.
It's Labor Day we go there.
That's right.
Here's the 1-2. And Capuano again lays off. 2 balls, 2 strikes. But next year, the Marlins will have themselves a retractable roof stadium, and they won't have to worry about rain delays anymore.
Will not. We'll be able to take BP on the field every day and not have to worry about 5-hour rain delays.
Capuano forging a pretty good at bat. He's worked it to 2-2 with the go-ahead run at third, and he laces one into the glove of Hudson to end the inning. Well, Capuano gave a good account of himself there, but the Gold Glover Hudson snagging the liner to end the inning. The Mets get 2 to tie. Scott Hairston might have had a 3-run homer, but for the great wall of Flushing, he settles for an RBI double, and the Mets settle for a 2-2 tie after 4. You and a guest could have dinner with us, then catch the game in an SNY suite at Citi Field on Thursday, September 1st. Plus, you'll be featured in a segment on Mets Weekly. All proceeds benefit the high school basketball team scheduled to play in the 2012 SNY Invitational. Just go to sny.tv/charity auction and bid today. Perhaps it'll be just as pretty a moon that night as it is tonight.
How romantic.
By the line of the silvery moon. Fifth inning, Rob Johnson leads off against Chris Capuano. What are they serving this year? Do we know?
What did they serve last time? I forgot. It was forgettable, wasn't it?
We'll have to get our friend Javier to cater.
Javier was the one that designed the Mex burger.
Really?
I'm not going to steal his thunder. It was his design.
Well, maybe we should have Mex burgers for the dinner.
That could be nice. That's a very good idea.
That would be appropriate, don't you think?
That's right.
Rob Johnson hit into a fielder's choice his first time up. We talked about Johnson in his first at bat, that he's from Montana. Very few Major League Baseball players from Montana, but one who was your teammate. I don't know if you remember that he was from Big Sky Country.
Well, I had one you won't know, Mike Garman, who was traded to St. Louis early in my career from Boston, relief pitcher, was from Montana. But go ahead.
John Gibbons.
That's right, of course.
Out to right center field, and Hairston edges over. One away. Of course, Gibby, a terrific catcher who was plagued by injury problems during his Mets career, and went on to a career as a manager as well.
Managed in Toronto, Big John.
Here's LeBlanc up for the second time, grounded out to short his first trip. The Mets have 6 hits. The Padres have 4, each team scoring their 2 runs in the 4th inning. Capuano gave up just 2 runs in 6 innings in his last outing against Florida. And LeBlanc shortening up as though he was going to bunt and takes a strike. Wright's not buying it. He stays deep at third. And slider off the plate, 1-1. Cameron Maben, the on-deck hitter, waiting next. Wade LeBlanc from the University of Alabama. Story goes he grew up in Louisiana and he was going to go to McNeese State, much lesser program, and then all of a sudden as a senior in high school he became a much hotter prospect. So he renounced McNeese and said, I'm going to play for the Tide. In comes Tejada to throw him out, 2 away. And that worked out for him because he wound up being a 2nd-round draft pick. Whereas if he played at McNeese,
a little less exposure?
Yeah, probably not.
Boy, in Alabama, Tuscaloosa, they got nailed by that tornadoes and a lot of devastation there.
Did you see they just had graduation for the University of Alabama just a couple of days ago? And they brought in all the families of the students there. I think there were half dozen of them who were killed in the tornadoes and presented those families with those diplomas. And it was quite an emotional moment for everybody there. Here's Cameron Maben with 2 out. And a good changeup by Capuano. Maben a bunt single and a liner to second base. 1 for 2. Line to left field, and that'll fall for a base hit.
I tell you what, I'm impressed by Mr. Maben. He has swung the bat well. He was offensively challenged with the Marlins, but he has impressed me. It's interesting how a player can get to a new scenery. He gets traded with the big trade for Cabrera with the Tigers. A lot of pressure on him. Big part of that trade, and he gets traded to another organization, less pressure, and they find themselves. And he's looked impressive this series.
And I think also because of who he was traded for, as this one's driven out to right center by Bartlett, and it's over the head of Hairston and hopping against the wall. Maben around third, and he's going to score on the double by Bartlett, and it's 3-2 San Diego. Jason Bartlett with a long double drives in a run for his 6th straight game, and the Padres are back in front.
Well, very big ballpark here, and another fly ball. A lot of airtime. That ball's hit well. That short hops the wall. I tell you, if this park right here, you just got to have a whole lot of speed in the outfield. Watch Maben run here. Let's see if he does the windmill. There it goes. There. Oh.
You know, it's a good thing he didn't become a running back. He would have fumbled a million times. Here's Guzman. I mean, that right arm just does something unnatural. But he gets up ahead of steam, doesn't he?
He can fly and makes it look easy.
It's almost like he's using the arm for ballast as he's making the turns around the bases. Ball and a strike to Guzman, who doubled off the fence in left field his first time up. I was going to say about Maben that part of the problem is you get traded for 2 guys like Miguel Cabrera and Dontrell Willis, and you're the linchpin of the deal.
Yep.
The temptation of the team that gets you to push you a little too fast. And he was 21 when the Marlins called him up and clearly was not ready. And, he's only 24 now and starting to come into his own.
Well, I was a bit of a late bloomer. I was 20 years old and struggled, got sent down. 21, struggled, got benched. Didn't get sent down, but was benched. 22. I didn't have really my first good year until I was 23.
an age when a lot of guys are still in the minor leagues.
Yeah, 23 was 77. Oh my goodness, what was a long time ago. You should have seen me.
I did. I was watching. Line toward the gap in right center. Over comes Hairston. Can't get it. And that'll roll to the wall. In to score is Bartlett. And Guzman's got himself another double. Boy, has he been impressive. Jesus Guzman with his second double of the game. His 25th RBI since the All-Star break. The most in the majors. And it's 4-2 San Diego.
2-out rally here. Started by Maben. And a double to left field. Now it goes the other way on the changeup. This ball was ripped. That's a line drive.
So Capuano gave up 2 in the 4th. Mets rallied to tie. And the Padres come right back with 2 more. Now, Orlando Hudson is due up, but he is not going to bat. Alberto Gonzalez is going to bat for Hudson. So Hudson hitting cleanup for the first time in his career. Forced to leave the game, and we'll try and figure out why. Gonzalez, former Yankee, former National. And he laces one at the left. On comes Bay, and that ends the inning. But not before the Padres put up 2 more runs. RBI doubles by Bartlett and Guzman with 2 out, and halfway through it's 4-2 San Diego. Here comes the windmill. Top of the batting order, Angel Pagan leads off in the bottom of the 5th. Alberto Gonzalez, who pinch hit for Hudson, stays in at second base. Hudson's already been on the disabled list twice this year, a hammy and a groin, and he caught the line drive by Capuano to end the bottom of the 4th. Don't know whether maybe he strained something doing that, but Hudson is out of the game. Pagan whacks one to shortstop, and Bartlett on the backhand throws him out, 1 away. That would be 6-3 on Keith's scorecard, and you know Keith keeps a detailed scorecard for every game, and now Keith is giving one away. Just like us at Facebook.com/SNY, and you could win an autographed Keith Hernandez scorecard complete with highlighters.
And actually, the game I'm giving away is the one of the Yankee games here of the last series at Citi Field.
Not the Mets walk-off win.
Not. I'll take a peek.
Anyway, enter exclusively at Facebook.com/SNY for your chance to win. Jason Bay had a walk-off hit in that last Mets-Yankees game. Justin Turner 0 for 2, robbed by Cameron Maben, who made a nice tumbling catch his last time up. And the LeBlanc throws a strike, 1-1. Well, LeBlanc was staked to a 2-run lead in the fourth and gave it back. Now up by 2 again, and he badly fools Turner, 1-2. LeBlanc trying to stick around with the Padres, who had an opening in their rotation with Dustin Mosley going on the disabled list, and LeBlanc taking that spot. Fastball on the inside corner, and Turner did not like that call by Bill Welke. That is 5 strikeouts for LeBlanc, and every one of them has been on a call third strike.
Well, it's one of 2 pitches: the backdoor slider to a right-hander, or this fastball inside corner, and that's a strike. If that had the corner, it's not high. Too close to take. Yep. But he has a gripe. If it was Ted Williams, Tony Gwynn, Pete Rose,
Keith Hernandez,
ball. It would have been a ball.
David Wright has flied to center and struck out 0 for 2. So the top 3 in the Mets order, Pagan, Turner, and Wright, have combined 0 for 8 so far tonight against LeBlanc. And in David's case, you know how when he is right, how he tears up left-handed pitching. Not so much this year, where he's missed 2 months.
He really hasn't caught fire on the left-handers, and he is definitely closer to the plate. There's no question. We've talked about it before. So Welke is calling a high strike tonight, but he's been consistent with it, and it's an old-fashioned high strike.
Full count to David with Duda on deck. David came into the night hitting just .238 against lefties, which is about, 200 points lower than he normally hits against left-handers. With the 0 for 2 down to .227. 3-2, and he pokes that one foul. Chris Carlin and Adam Shine will have a preview of tomorrow's Mets-Padres matchup with insider info and live reports, plus all the latest news from Jets and Giants camp on Loudmouths each weekday at 6 p.m. only on SNY. And that's 2 high, ball 4, and Wright is on with a 2-out walk. First walk of the night given up by LeBlanc. When the Mets saw LeBlanc last year in San Diego, the only previous time they faced him, he walked 4 in 5 1/3, but his control had been impeccable up until that walk to Wright. Now Duda, who's 2 for 2 tonight, and has hits in each of his last 5 at-bats going back to last night.
And he gets a nice little applause from the folks, and both base hits on breaking balls, Gare. Let's see if LeBlanc changes the program.
Wright is picked off, and Guzman makes the toss. Bartlett the tag, side retired. Well, we talked earlier about LeBlanc's pickoff move, and it serves him well. 1-3-6 on the caught stealing. First time Wright's been caught all year. 4-2 San Diego after 5. Padres with 2 runs in the 4th and 2 in the 5th off Chris Capuano. So the Padres, who had been struggling to score runs all year, all of a sudden this week have become an offensive juggernaut. Their big series in Pittsburgh, 8 runs last night, 4 more tonight. That's 47 runs in their last 4.5 games. Kyle Blanks will lead things off. The enormous Mr. Blanks has flied to center and struck out 0 for 2. And he pops one foul. Blanks missed most of last year and the first part of this year after having Tommy John surgery last July. The Padres had Chris DeNorfia playing a lot of their left field. DeNorfia was also leading off for them, but he just got hurt, and so it's given Blanks a chance to play.
Well, Blanks has got a kind of a long swing. He's got like a slider speed swing. You got to crowd him.
And he laces one to the left for a base hit. So a leadoff hit for Blanks. That's 8 hits now for San Diego. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by People Are Talking About Hyundai. Uncensored. See what they're saying at Hyundai.com. By Cholula Hot Sauce. Want the perfect balance of flavor and heat? Add Cholula Hot Sauce to your next meal. Just look for the iconic wooden cap. And by Dunkin' Donuts. To get dunked, go to www.getdunked.com. Here's Aaron Cunningham, who has walked and singled in a run. By the way, did I mention as a comebacker to Capuano, time to get the out at second, and the jumping toss by Tejada not in time. Capuano had to wait, and that cost them the chance for the double play, as Tejada had to jump over the barreling Kyle Blanks at second base. It's a big body coming at you.
Yep. Well, watch Capuano here. He taps his, gets set, has to wait that extra step, extra shuffle, and waiting for Tejada to get there.
Now, as a pitcher in that circumstance, are you waiting for him to get there, or waiting to get him close enough that you can lead him there?
So you can lead him there? Yes. I don't know if you would want to throw it to him on the run, maybe 5 feet to the left of the bag, and let him catch it and touch the bag on the run. We need Ron Darling to come in here and.
Well, we'll hear from Ronnie in the postgame show.
His expertise on that.
He'll let us know. James Darnell struck out and grounded into a double play in his first 2 big league at bats. By the way, as you look at Tejada here, going over the top of Blanks. Two 2-0 to Darnell. And he takes a strike. The word on Orlando Hudson, he left the game with a strained left groin. He's day-to-day. That's why Alberto Gonzalez came in. Here's the pitch count on Capuano, up to 80 for the night, working in the 6th inning. Not a high pitch count, but not a good stat line either. 4 runs and 8 hits against Capuano over the first 5 1/3. And now he's behind on the rookie Darnell, 3-1. Cunningham's got something sticking out of the back of his helmet. Do you see that?
No.
Look at that.
It's hair. Dennis the Menace.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Down the right field line, and over comes Hairston, and he runs out of room. Mr. Wilson. Oh, did I mention, by the way, after we read the Dunkin' Donuts spot a moment ago, that Dunkin' Donuts has a new donut in the lineup? It's the new Dunkin' Donuts caramel chocolate donut. Caramel filling, chocolate icing, vanilla drizzle. You've tasted it. A scouting report?
It's very good. And all you kids, eat your heart out.
You got extras. Popped up. And Duda coming over, staggering and making the grab. to retire Darnell.
So,
look how many we got. We got another half dozen sitting here.
Eat your heart out. All mine.
Now, they're wait a second. They're bidding on the scorecard. Maybe you can throw in a donut.
There you go, Al.
Very nice.
I always take care of camera, too.
We know Al doesn't stop eating the entire game, so now he can continue uninterrupted. Here's Rob Johnson with 2 out and a runner at first. Oh, by the way, you know, at Dunkin' Donuts now you can also get any size of their freshly brewed iced tea for just 99 cents.
I like their iced tea.
Center field, chasing back is Pagan, and he runs it down for the out. So 99 cents for the iced tea. How refreshing is that to go with the caramel donut?
Go, Al.
It's like a Dunkin' Donuts festival, and Al is happy to participate.
Move your microphone, Al.
Run, they've fallen to 500 for the year, 4 games behind Detroit, and only a game in front of the White Sox, who just are not going away, despite the fact that Ozzie Guillen keeps saying they've been awful.
All the overachieving teams, August always seems to be the graveyard month. You know, you just find out that's when the stretch run starts.
Lucas Duda leading off in the 6th. Jason Bay on deck. Duda gets tied up and a missed inside from LeBlanc, and it's 2-0.
Notice how he finally came inside on Lucas, who's got 2 hits on the breaking ball off of him.
LeBlanc looking for his first victory of the season, leading 4-2 in the 6th. Duda was at the plate when David Wright was caught stealing to end the 5th. So Duda still working on a stretch of 5 straight at bats with base hits, and has his average up to 282 on the year. It's this one in the air to center field, chasing Maben back a few strides. He'll have room. 1 away. So Duda retired. Jason Bay coming up. Let's check in with Kevin.
Talked to Bay about his swing today, guys, and obviously that has been a constant discussion all year long, really from spring training. But, you know, he said, you know, the thing is, and I've come to realize that when you're struggling, you know, you tend to do a little bit more. It's kind of that swimming upstream thing, but in essence, yeah, you really should do a little bit less at sometimes. And I've gotten some of my confidence back, and I think it's allowed me to relax just a little bit. You know, even when he was hot about a month ago, and he was talking about his swing, how he still wasn't totally comfortable and how he was still kind of tinkering with that. And I asked him, are you comfortable with it now? And he said, yes, I am. I mean, he seemed like it, too, as here. Little ground ball, see if he can beat it out. Bartlett just gets him.
Oh, boy.
Close. And, you know, Bayside, I'll tell you what, I feel like I'm definitely more relaxed. And, you know, I've been feeling pretty good even since that 2-home run game in L.A. And I know there was kind of a lull after that, and I told people I felt good, but I did. And I feel like I have some of my base back. I feel like I'm a little bit of my old self again. A little more relaxed these days, Jason Bay at the plate, guys.
Well, I always feel that you can slump and you can think yourself into insane asylum. You know, sometimes you just got to get away, take a step back.
Here's Scott Hairston with 2 out and nobody on. Hairston drove a double high off the wall in left center in the 4th to drive in the Mets' first run. Ronnie Polino then followed with a sacrifice fly, but Hairston did not tag up on that fly ball, and it might have cost the Mets a chance to take the lead in that 4th inning.
Well, the first at bat, he just missed one off the end of the bat, if you recall, Gary. He pulled it down the left field line. Made the adjustment here. Same pitch, hit it into the gap.
This one off the fist, a foul ball, 1-2. Comes inside, spinning Hairston out of the way. 2-2. Talked about it the other day. Hairston was brought here to hit left-hand pitching, but most of his big hits this year have come against right-handed pitching. Has 1 homer against a lefty this year. Hits this one out to center field. Maven got fooled by it, but plenty of time to come in under it. And that retires the side, so LeBlanc sets the Mets down 1-2-3 in the bottom of the 6th. On to the 7th, 4-2 San Diego. Of the 4-game set, R.A. Dickey pitches against the veteran Aaron Harang. 6:30 the coverage tomorrow night. Mets and Padres right here on SNY. And the final game of the series, a Thursday noontime start with John Neese going for his 12th win against Corey Lubke. Well, Bud Black is taking his pitcher out. Logan Forsythe bats for Wade LeBlanc as we start the 7th inning. Interesting, because it looked like LeBlanc had really hit his stride.
And I was looking at LeBlanc's stats, Gare, in the minor leagues, and he had 4 consecutive, as he gets a base hit there, the pinch hit, base hit to lead things off. He had 4 consecutive 8-inning appearances.
So threw only 92 pitches tonight, but he's out of there. Forsythe has the pinch hit single after going 0 for 3 starting at third base last night. And so that's 9 hits now against Capuano, and that's going to be the last man he faces. Terry Collins is going to go to his bullpen and make a double switch as he does. So Manny Acosta will be coming on with Cameron Maben coming to the plate. Call to the bullpen is brought to you by Lincoln. Padres up 4-2 as Capuano exits in the top of the 7th. We'll be right back. Yesterday as a pinch hitter, stays in right field, and Manny Acosta will be doing the pitching. Baxter will bat 9th. Acosta goes in the 6th hole with Hairston coming out.
And it's pitched well of late. Has a nice little string going. Has not given up a run in 13 of his last 16 games.
Cameron Maben, the batter, 2 for 3 tonight with a runner at first and nobody out. And Maben takes it low for ball 1. Capuano went 6 innings plus, allowed 9 hits. The 4 runs so far, a walk and 2 strikeouts. Luke Gregerson getting ready in the San Diego bullpen with LeBlanc having left for a pinch hitter here in the top of the 7th. Maben now has 5 hits and 8 at bats in this series. And he fouls that one into the ground, 1-1. Jason Bartlett, who has a big hit in this game, a run-scoring double to put the Padres back in front, waiting on deck. Well, that's an awfully important number for a relief pitcher, that first batter faced. And Acosta's done a nice job with it. One of the first things that managers will look at from a relief pitcher, particularly a guy who comes in with men on base. Polino did not catch that ball, but I don't think that Forsythe realized it, and he did not break for second.
I think he got crossed up there.
And he didn't know where the ball was.
And not a good reaction from Forsythe at first base.
He's got to be at second base on that play.
No question.
So now it's 2-1 to Maben. Everybody on this San Diego team is a threat to steal. They stole 3 bases last night, 133 for the year. Forsythe has stolen 1 since being called up. And maybe it's a sharply great stop by Wright. The throw to second, and he gets the force play. I don't know how Turner stayed on the bag.
I don't either.
But that was quite a stop by David Wright to save a double and get an out.
Well, this is a game breaker right here if it's down the line. Nice play by David. The underhand feed puts Turner in harm's way, boy, big time. Let's see, he stays on the bag. And I tell you what, Turner's got some guts.
Maybe
close
not.
enough. Close enough.
Maybe not.
Close enough.
They got the benefit of the doubt from Vic Carapazza, the second base umpire. And he got himself out of harm's way with Forsythe barreling in. So now 1 out and 1 on. Maben aboard. And Bartlett takes ball 1. Bartlett 1 for 3, drove in a run with a long double to right center in the 5th. He's now driven in a run in 6 straight games. I don't think of Bartlett as a run producer. He now has 31 RBIs for the year. What's interesting is he also had a 9-game RBI streak earlier this year. There goes Maben, and Polino's throw, close, and he's got him. Good throw by Ronnie Polino to get Maben, who had stolen successfully 21 times in a row.
No wasted motion. Strong arm from Polino. He got him all right. Nice tag. Yep. Nice tag. Nice throw.
So just like that, 2 out and nobody on. 2 fine defensive plays for the Mets. Wright with the stop on a ball that was headed down the line. And now Polino with the good throw to get Maben. But Acosta behind 3-0. Finally throws a strike to Bartlett. On deck, Jesus Guzman, who has just stung the ball all night long. 2 doubles and a line out in his 3 at-bats. And another fastball for a strike, 3-2. Line center field, base hit for Bartlett. So he's got his second hit of the night. And the Padres have 10 hits in the game. And that'll get Guzman to the plate with a man on.
Well, run saved by Mr. Paulino. Nice throw.
Well, here is Guzman, who has been such a bright surprise for the Padres. He's only had 118 at-bats for them so far, but boy, has he produced. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. Guzman was first in the Mariners organization. He was a third baseman. They let him go because they felt he was never going to be able to play a position defensively. He went to the Giants, who turned him into a first baseman, and he's still a less than average defensive first baseman. But if he hits like this, who will care? There's the force at second to end the inning. 2 hits in the inning, but Polino helped save a run. 4-2 at the 7th inning stretch. Gregerson will take over the pitching.
Well, the veteran, he is a workhorse. The last 2 seasons with the Padres, 70-plus appearances. He is a guy that they go to late in the ball game.
So in his splits, the lefties have hit him a little better this year than in the past. Sinker slider guy. Mets will have right-hand hitters coming up, Polino and Tejada, and then Baxter, a left-hand hitter, due up third in the inning. Mets down 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Wade LeBlanc went 6 innings, allowed 2 runs, 6 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. In line for his first win of the year, Josh Spence, the lefty, staying busy in the San Diego bullpen. Polino singled to right in the 2nd, then drove home the tying run with a sacrifice fly in the 4th. Mets got both their runs in that bottom of the 4th after the Padres had taken the lead with 2 in the top of the 4th. San Diego responded with 2 in the 5th, and they've been up 4-2 ever since. And a broken back grounder. In comes Bartlett. 1 pitch by Gregerson, 1 out. Shavings of the bat need to be collected now from the infield grass. Just took that little chunk out.
Those light bats. And maple, not as pliable as the white ash.
Now Ruben Tejada, who's taken a call third strike and flying to right tonight, 0 for 2. Gregerson, who came over to the Padres in a deal from St. Louis for Khalil Green, whose career never quite matched what was expected.
Well, Khalil Green went on to St. Louis and had emotional issues, correct?
Mm-hmm. But even before that with the Padres, he was supposed to be a big star, and it just never worked out that way.
He just didn't have any kind of no personality, just kind of a Surfer Joe type laid back. It doesn't necessarily mean that a Surfer Joe can't make it, that kind of personality. But just a little bit too laid back. And it all boils down to one thing: can you hit?
Gregerson behind on Tejada, 3-0. You got the left hand hitting Baxter on deck, so this might be his last batter. And Tejada takes a strike.
I think the only way it's going to be his last batter if Tejada gets on base.
Aaron Balsley, the pitching coach, on the phone. Make sure Spence is ready. And now Gregerson comes back to a full count. Geico Sports Night, your nightly source for all things New York sports. Tonight, a one-on-one with Kyle Wilson. O.C. Umenura deciding whether to stay with the Giants. And Patrick Ewing in the news as well. Geico Sports Night tonight after the postgame, only on SNY. 3-2 to Tejada, and he struck him out. So Gregerson with the slider gets Tejada after falling behind 3-0. So now Mike Baxter gets his second at bat as a Met. Here was the first one. He saw only 1 pitch.
And he got a ball in the outer on the outer half of the plate. Misplayed by Blanks, and there's his family cheering him on. A double nonetheless. A nice at bat for that young man. RBI with that double.
Mike Baxter, who grew up in Whitestone, played his high school ball at Archbishop Molloy, and then started his college career at Columbia. So we're going to claim him as one of our own, even though he only spent 1 year at Morningside Heights and then transferred to Vanderbilt. Said he loved Columbia, loved the whole atmosphere there, just wanted a little higher level of baseball, and he found that in the Southeastern Conference. But he hit .368 in his 1 year for Columbia.
It's not easy.
He's right with Lou Gehrig as far as we're concerned. Gene Larkin, Frank Seminara. We've had a few. Actually, the Mets have a guy that Baxter played with at Columbia, Fernando Perez, who used to be with Tampa Bay, is now at Buffalo for the Mets. Speedy outfielder. Here's the 2-1, and it's off the plate. 3-1. Baxter, who got 8 at-bats as a Padre last year, playing against his old team. And he bounces one back to Gregerson. And that retires the side. So Gregerson comes in, pitches a 1-2, 3-7. On to the 8th we go at Citi Field. San Diego 4, the Mets 2. Eighth inning, 4-2 San Diego. Alberto Gonzalez leads off against Manny Acosta. Second at bat for Gonzalez, who lines one off Acosta and up the middle. It snakes into the glove of Turner, but no play for Justin. A base hit for Alberto Gonzalez. And that one caught Acosta on the way through, and it looks like it got his pitching hand.
Oh, boy.
As his pinky is dripping blood.
Fastball in, jams him. He didn't even try to catch it with his bare hand.
He was trying to backhand it in the glove. The bare hand was just kind of in the way. So a painful hit given up by Acosta, and he's going to come out of the game. So the Mets are going to have to go to their bullpen. Acosta, who worked his way through the 7th inning, forced to leave here in the 8th after being struck on the pitching hand, and DJ Carrasco will have as much time as he needs to warm up as he comes in the game. So Acosta, who'd been pitching very well, forced to leave the game. We'll come back in just a moment. James Shields, a complete game 6 hitter. Evan Longoria homered as the Rays beat the Royals 4-0. Bobby Abreu homered in a 4-run 6th inning off A.J. Burnett. And the Angels up 4-1 on the Yankees in the 7th. Dan Herron on the mound for the Angels. And the Braves got a run on a bases-loaded walk issued by Clay Hensley. They're up 1-0 on the Marlins in the 4th in a game that was delayed at the start by rain down in Florida. Here, because of the injury to Manny Acosta, as he took a line drive off the pinky on his pitching hand, DJ Carrasco gets as much time as he needs to warm up.
And he's been pretty much the same lefty righty. As you can see, not much difference there. It's a guy that can give you innings. Hasn't been the season that DJ would like.
Spent 7 weeks in the minor leagues at one point. Pitched last on Sunday, gave up a single and a walk in a scoreless inning of work against the Braves. They'll come in to face Kyle Blanks with a runner at first and nobody out. The Padres up 4-2. And looking to add to that, Blanks is 1 for 3, single to left his last time up. The Padres now have 11 hits in this game. Chris Capuano gave up 4 runs and 9 hits in 6 innings plus, and it's on the hook for the Mets. See if the Mets have some late inning magic in them again tonight.
It did not take Carrasco that long to get loose. He's one of those rubber arm guys that can get ready real quick.
We always get concerned with younger pitchers in this situation that they don't take the time they need. Remember, Pedro Beato was in that circumstance earlier this year, came on because of injury, and you know, a young pitcher, he's got tens of thousands of people watching him, and everybody has to wait around for him to be ready, standing out in the middle of the diamond, and a lot of times they will not throw as many warm-up pitches as they should, and that will reflect in their performance. I think that's going to be a problem for DJ. He's been around.
Yes.
Blanks takes a rip. A ball and 2 strikes. Aaron Cunningham on deck. Line to center. On comes Pagan. He'll have to play that on the hop. Gonzalez pulls in at second base, and Kyle Blanks has his second hit of the game. So Carrasco greeted by a base hit, and now the Padres have 2 on and nobody out. Aaron Cunningham will be the batter. Mets confer on the infield, thinking that Cunningham might be bunting.
There's always that possibility. This is a Padre team, even though they've been hitting and scoring runs, it's a lot of no-names out here. And you would think Bud Black, an old pitcher, there's the defense in at the corners. Bud Black, an old starting pitcher, probably would want to get the runners over, get the insurance runs in, and he is.
And Carrasco comes up and in. It's a foul ball.
Oh, okay.
So he hit his bat as he tried to vacate.
Spun him around like a top.
It's a good way to negate the sacrifice bunt. Last night, Logan Forsythe was spun around like that by Igarashi and somehow got the bunt down while he was getting out of the way. Pickoff try, and he hits the runner. And everybody will stay put. Gonzalez got drilled by that throw. Ball that Carrasco probably never should have thrown.
Here's the bunt again from that Coors Light freeze cam. And yes, it did.
Marv Albert back in his hockey days would have said, spun around and dumped. Bunted, it hit him in the batter's box. A foul ball. Home plate umpire Bill Welke immediately saying it was in foul territory.
And stabbing at this. And that's the result when you stab.
So Cunningham in a 2-strike hole, not likely to be bunting. Gonzalez at second, Blanks at first, and nobody out. And a ground ball to short, might be 2 if they hurry. Turner with the turn, not in time. Cunningham beat the Rap at first base.
Just not hit hard enough. Tough turn all the way around.
And a good call at first base by Jeff Nelson.
Yep, he did get it.
So the Padres have first and third and 1 out. And the rookie James Darnell, playing in his first major league game, will step in. Darnell, who hit 23 home runs in the minor leagues this year, 0 for 3 today, struck out, grounded into a double play, fouled out to first.
Mets are going to play it back for 2 on the middle infield, in at the corners.
And a fastball strike to Darnell. Molino going to a different brand of signs with Carrasco rather than putting down numbers. And the curveball misses to Darnell, a ball and a strike. DJ Carrasco's got a lot of different pitches, a lot of different arm angles. He needs to pull one out of his pocket here to try and get a double play ball from Darnell. Swing and a miss at a high fastball, 1-2.
Went out of the strike zone here, went fishing, totally tied him up.
James Darnell from the University of South Carolina in his first big league game. Now in a 1-2 hole. And the slider off the plate, 2-2. Rob Johnson, the catcher and number 8 hitter, is on deck. Chad Qualls, who pitched last night and had trouble follow him, is up in the San Diego bullpen. Now Carrasco's 2-2. He struck him out. So DJ Carrasco fans James Darnell, and now there are 2 out in the inning.
This is a backup slider here. It looks like Mr. Darnell's got a big hole upstairs, particularly inside.
So he can't get the run in from third. Now there are 2 out. And here's Rob Johnson, who's hit into a fielder's choice and flied out twice. Gonzalez is at third, Blanks at first with 2 down. Will Venable has come out on deck to pinch hit if Johnson keeps the inning going. And the slider away for ball 1. Johnson not much of a bat. 28 years old. Had parts of 4 seasons in Seattle before being let go. And he pokes one foul, a ball and a strike. Tim Burdock getting ready in the Mets bullpen with the lefty Venable on deck to pinch hit. Remember that Bud Black had to go into his bench early tonight because Orlando Hudson got hurt, so he's only got 1 right-handed bat on his bench, and that's his backup catcher, Luis Martinez. So if you're Terry Collins and it gets to Venable, you have to figure if you bring Burdock in, that Black's not going to make a counter move. 1-1 to Johnson. And the slider misses. 2 balls and a strike. Nothing has come easy for DJ Carrasco this year. And that one start that he had to make in Atlanta when the Mets were in a bind back in April. He had the walk-off balk also in Atlanta earlier this year. Spent far longer in the minor leagues than he ever anticipated when he got sent down. Little dribbler, that's foul. 2-2. And I'll go back to what Sandy Alderson said yesterday, that the Mets have got to upgrade their bullpen for next season. And that means that everybody who's pitching out of that bullpen now is on notice.
Well, you got to factor one thing in. Izzy is going to be another year older. Is he going to want to come back?
He wasn't sure he wanted to come back this year.
Correct.
2-2. And Johnson lays off, full count. I mean, you're pretty certain Bobby Parnell's going to be here in some role next year. You're pretty certain the Mets will hang on to Pedro Beato, although next year they can send him down to the minors, which they can't do this year.
And I got to believe the Mets are going to want more than one left-hander out in that bullpen. Particularly that man right there.
A lot of questions to answer. So now Cunningham at first will be in motion. 3-2 and 2 out. And it's hit shallow center. Turner out. Pagan in to call. And that retires the side. So Carrasco comes in, gives up a hit, but gets the next 3 out. Keeps it a 2-run game in the middle of the 8th. Qualls, who gave up a couple of runs in the 8th last night, right back out there tonight to protect a 2-run lead.
And Qualls was kind of victimized by the poor play, the misplay, I shouldn't say, of left fielder Kyle Blanks. He gave up the 2 runs in the 8th inning.
Aaron Cunningham moves from right field to left field. Will Venable comes in to play right field. Venable will bat 9th. The pitcher goes in the 5-hole. With Blanks coming out of the game. The Mets will have the top of the batting order coming up against Qualls, Pagan, Turner, and Wright. And that trio has combined to go 0 for 8 tonight. Mets have 2 runs and 6 hits. They got both their runs in the 4th, driven in by Hairston and Paulino. Pagan has flied deep to left, taking a call, 3rd strike, and grounded to short. Luke Gregerson worked a perfect inning in relief. After Wade LeBlanc went the first 6, he's in line for his first win of the year. So now Qualls ready to go. And the veteran right-hander throws one that's fouled, and Johnson took the brunt of that as Pagan tried to bunt his way on. And Johnson, trying to hop out, was left vulnerable. right off the thigh.
And that's because he's on one knee, Gary. You mentioned it earlier off air that you're down on one knee because no one's on base. Well, guess what happens? You leave your thigh exposed. If you're squatting, it hits the shin guard.
I guess most guys would like to stay down on one knee because it allows them to get lower and present a lower target.
Well, it's a little easier on your legs, too. You can see him on one knee. No protection on that thigh. And you can look at the other leg that's bent. It would have hit the top of the shin guard. So he'll have a little bruise there.
Be able to see the stitches of the ball.
Maybe. That's happened,
there's a term for that. It's called Wally Whitehurst leg.
Oh, right.
Wally was a terrific guy, sinker ball pitcher for the Mets who got hit by more hard ground balls or line drives in his legs than anybody I've ever seen. So Qualls is throwing one pitch. Now with a little delay to work with, gets set to throw his second to Pagan. And Angel takes a breaking ball strike. Chad Qualls making his 58th appearance. Josh Spence, the lefty, up in the bullpen. With Duda 3 batters away. Pagan lifts one to deep right field. Back goes Venable onto the warning track. Back near the wall. It's out of here. Angel Pagan homers for the second straight game. And he gets the Mets within 1 run. It's 4-3. Number 6 for Angel Pagan. And he got just enough.
Well, Angel gets a slider here and hangs. Right down Broadway in the wheelhouse, and nicely done.
That's the 6th home run that Qualls has given up in relief this year. Now Justin Turner lines one over short for a base hit. And the Mets have the tying run aboard, and here they come again.
Qualls is saying, what have I got to do?
So now the tying run on base, nobody out, and David Wright coming up. Last night, the Mets came from 2 runs down in the 9th to win, something they had not done since 2008. The Mets had gone 195 games in which they trailed by 2 in the 9th without winning before they finally did that. That was the longest streak in franchise history. And the Padres had won 187 straight games in which they were up 2 in the 9th. And so that all turned last night. Last night the Mets were down 4 when they came to bat in the 8th. Got 2 in the 8th and then 3 in the 9th to win. And Duda, of course, had the big hit. He's on deck. David tonight 0 for 2 and a walk. He's caught stealing in the 5th inning. First time he's been caught all year. He went off a big night last night with a homer and 3 RBIs. Jason Isringhausen hoping for a save opportunity, starting to get loose. And David rips one past the third baseman Darnell, base hit. And now the Mets have the tying and lead runs on base with nobody out. A shot from right for his first hit of the night.
That's going to be it for Qualls.
So Chad Qualls faces 3 batters, gives up the home run to Pagan, back-to-back singles to Turner and Wright. Another lost effort for Qualls. Now they'll bring in the lefty Spence to face Duda with the tying and go-ahead runs on base. 4-3 San Diego. We'll be right back.
Went up in 20 innings pitched and strikeouts. More than innings pitched and only 6 walks.
Brought in to face Lucas Duda, who went 2 for 3 against the left-hander LeBlanc tonight. Now facing another left-hander with Turner, the tying run at second, and Wright, the potential go-ahead run at first. Mets down 4-3 in the 8th. Nobody out. And Duda drops down the bunt. And Johnson makes the play, and Duda with a successful sacrifice. I don't think anybody in the building was waiting for that.
I certainly wasn't.
2-3 on the sacrifice, and now the tying runs at third and the go-ahead runs at second.
Well, the skipper, Terry Collins, is planning to get back on this game. Base hit away from going and taking the lead. Well, nicely done, Lucas. I know that's not something that you're used to doing, and it's not easy to bunt. I never liked to bunt.
Now Jason Bay is the batter. The pitcher's spot is due up next. Nick Evans has come out on deck to pinch hit, and they're going to walk Bay intentionally to load up the bases. So Jason, who's 1 for 3 tonight with an infield hit and has an 11-game hitting streak going, gets the respect here, and they'll set up the double play situation and pitch to Evans. And we'll see whether it will be Spence to pitch to Evans or whether they'll bring in a right-hander. Now the Mets have 3 left-handed bats on their bench, Pridey, Harris, and Tolley, if they go that way.
I would not want to pitch to the left-handed bench of the Mets. I would lead this lefty in here. He's gotten righties out and let Evans beat you. A little slower of foot for a double play.
Evans is the only right-handed bat on the Mets bench tonight. And he comes up here with the bases loaded and 1 out. Turner at third, Wright at second, and Bay at first. A fly ball gets the game even. A base hit could give the Mets the lead.
Well, the scouting report on Spence is that he has a really excellent changeup. So we'll see if he features it here and tries to get Evans to roll it over into a double play.
Well, the right-hand hitters are only 2 for 26 against him, so that gives you evidence of that changeup. Spence came out of nowhere, called up from Double-A this year. He was the second player from the 2010 draft to make it to the major leagues. And Evans takes that changeup low and away for ball 1.
Well, it's always nice. Get ahead 1-0 with the bases loaded. In at the corners. Playing for 2 up the middle.
Evans generally a very patient hitter. He works a lot of walks. Has not hit for a high average in the majors this year, just 188. And again the off-speed pitch, and it's 2-0. So now Spence has really painted himself into the corner. Ronnie Polino on deck. On 2-0, Evans takes a strike with the fastball. 2-1. And Evans lifts one to center field. That'll get the tying run home. Maben is under it. Turner tags at third. He heads home. The throw goes to third base. Wright arrives there safely. And the Mets have tied it 4-4. Nick Evans with the pinch hit sacrifice fly to get the Mets even.
Well, nicely done, Nick. Change up, not the least bit fooled. Going up the middle, putting it in play. Good read by Wright.
So the Mets executing here in the 8th. Duda with his first career sacrifice bunt, and after the intentional walk to Bay, Evans delivers the tying run. Now the go-ahead run at third with 2 down, and here's Ronnie Polino, an appeal play at second, but they say that Wright did not leave too early. So 2 runs are home for the Mets here in the bottom of the 8th. That gets Chris Capuano off the hook and takes away Wade LeBlanc's chance to be a winner for the first time this year. Polino tonight 1 for 2 and a sacrifice fly. First and third and 2 out. And he takes ball 1.
It's a good matchup right here with Paulino up going the other way. A change-up lefty. Nice little hole to shoot through between second and first.
Well, the Mets began this inning with the top of the batting order up. The top three guys in the order, Pagan, Turner, and Wright, had gone 0 for 8, but Pagan homered, Turner singled, Wright singled. 2 of the 3 have now scored. And Paulino trying to get Wright home. A pickoff try at first. And Wright was really edging down the line from third base as Spence threw that ball to first. I think it was Chris Denorfia of the Padres who stole home on a play like that against the Phillies this year. Cliff Lee on the mound, threw to first, and Lee was slow, and Ryan Howard was slow, and Denorfia timed it just right and stole home.
I just don't think that Bay is going to steal a base here. He can't run the team out of an inning.
Tejada on deck. Paulino fouls it off. 1-1.
Well, the sac bunt works out for the Mets nicely. Terry Collins playing to get back in the game. Now he's got a chance to win it with a base hit.
1-1 to Paulino. And Ronnie takes the changeup low and away. 2-1. He throws that changeup a lot.
It doesn't look like it's fooling anybody either. The Mets are taking a pretty good balance.
And his fastball has been 84, 85 miles an hour. And Paulino takes the fastball wide. Now it's 3-1. Well, a walk to Paulino would load the bases and bring up Tejada. Hitters count for Paulino. And Ronnie takes outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So Paulino, who walks very rarely, takes the pass there. The second walk by Spence in the inning. The first one was intentional. And so now the Mets have reloaded the bases, and Tejada will come up to try and get the lead. Ruben tonight has gone 0 for 3 and struck out twice. With the lefty staying in the game, Terry Collins does not have any right-handed pinch hitting options on the bench, so it's going to be Tejada here. Baxter hitting 9th in the order on deck, a left-hand hitter. But it's all on Tejada right now. 4-4, bottom of the 8th with the bases full. Tejada, the only Met starter without a hit tonight. And Ruben goes for that first pitch changeup that the Mets had been laying off.
No, he threw it for a strike. Had him out in front.
Mets have had 9 hits tonight. They need 1 more.
Well, he does love his changeup.
Mets have not had an official at bat against Spence yet. Sacrifice by Duda, intentional walk to base, sacrifice fly for Evans, and the walk to Paulino. Bases loaded, 2 down. And it's fouled away. And now it's 1-2. So 3 straight changeups from Spence to Tejada, and now Ruben's in a hole. Tejada with 19 runs batted in this year. Here's the 1-2, and he almost threw it to the backstop. Nice play by Johnson. 2-2.
Well, 4 straight changeups. Lou Gehrig up there, or Henry Aaron, or what?
I believe that's Ruben Tejada. 2-2 to Ruben. And he pokes one down the right field line, a foul ball. And a nice effort by Guzman, but he can't get there.
Not hit high enough to get there in time.
So Tejada has life. Mets have scored twice here in the 8th to get even. Wright at third, Bay at second, and Polino at first with 2 down. The 2-2 from Spence to Tejada. Outside. Another changeup. And now the merry-go-round will be in motion.
Very dicey now for Mr. Spence here. All change-ups to Tejada. And that'll drive your pitcher, your manager, former starting pitcher, crazy.
Everybody gets set to run. 3-2 to Tejada. And he walked him, and the Mets take the lead.
Wow.
Spence got ahead 1-2. He loses Tejada to a walk, his third walk in the inning, and the Mets lead it 5-4.
Take it any way you can get it. Nice at bat by Ruben, hanging in there. Very nice.
Angel Pagan, who got this thing started in the 8th inning with a home run, celebrating. The Mets doing it a little differently in the 8th inning tonight. 3 runs home on a home run, 2 singles, and 3 walks. And they lead for the first time tonight, 5-4. Now the bases remain loaded for Mike Baxter, the 9th man up in the inning. Baxter came in on a double switch, hit a comebacker in his only at bat in the 7th. Now facing the lefty Spence, and he takes a strike. Well, everybody has executed for the Mets here in the 8th inning. The only 2 outs have come on a sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice fly. All 3 runs in the inning charged to Chad Qualls. 0-2 to Baxter, so Qualls is now on the hook in this game. DJ Carrasco, who got himself out of trouble in the top of the inning, now pitcher of record on the long side.
Boy, that was a hanging high slider right there. Qualls.
Tough series for Qualls.
He's saying, get me out of Dodge. He's got 2 more days here.
Here's the 0-2. Baxter fouls it off.
Well, that's a high slider. This kid, he's cruising for a bruising.
Well, Spence's numbers have been tremendous so far this year. But the Mets have been very patient against him, and it has paid off. Again, the 0-2 to Baxter. And he struck him out to end the inning. But the Mets grabbed the lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, scoring 3 times. Angel Pagan got the whole thing started against Chad Qualls. Pagan homering for the 2nd straight day, his 6th of the year. And when the dust cleared, the Mets with a 3-1 8 take a 5-4 lead into the 9th at Citi Field. Post-game live. Chris Carlin and Ron Darling will have all the highlights, the reaction from the clubhouse, and the analysis. Lincoln post-game live right after the game, right after every game, right here on SNY. Jason Pridey takes over in right field for the Mets. He will go with a pitcher hit bin in the 6th hole, and Jason Isringhausen goes into the 9th spot as he looks for his 299th career save.
Well, Jason, quite a career.
Will Venable leads off up for the first time. Started last night, went 1 for 4, and he takes a first pitch strike with a cutter. It'll be Venable, then Cameron Maben and Jason Bartlett for the Padres in the 9th. Mets coming from multiple runs down in the 8th inning to win last night and to take a lead tonight. And Isringhausen, who was the winning pitcher last night, trying to get the save tonight as he pitched a 1-hit, scoreless 9th inning last night to pick up his 3rd win of the year. Hold. Oh, and a bad hop. It's a foul ball. That ball really came up to Duda.
What Lucas has to do right now, where that ball hit was a bad hop. Go do some gardening. Go find that divot. He's looking for it, and do some raking with your cleats.
It's fortunate that ball hit his glove and not his head or his shoulder.
Fortunate it was a foul ball.
That too. So now Isringhausen ahead on Venable 1-2. Another one bounced to Duda. Another foul ball. Almost the exact same spot. This one didn't take a bad hop. And he didn't even have to rake it. Will Venable, the Princeton grad. Spent some time in the minor leagues this year. Back up with the big club, hitting .260 on the season. Trying to get it started for San Diego in the 9th. Padres bullpen has been so solid for the last few years. The tapper foul. But they gave up a 4-run lead in the 8th inning last night, and they gave up a 2-run lead in the 8th inning tonight.
Another one of those balls that you top and it comes up. Ooh, oh, right under the chin.
So you want to be a catcher.
It's like getting that olive stuck in your throat. That hurts.
Never should have swallowed that apple.
Never should have had the martini.
Again, the 1-2. And it's too high. 2-2 to Venable. Jason Isringhausen at age 38 went from unwanted to major league closer again, and edging toward 300 saves for his career. 2-2. Foul back. And Venable giving a good accounting of himself. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat from Isringhausen to Venable. And he struck him out. Turned up the heat. 1 away.
Best ball away. Too many good cuts on the breaking ball. I think Jason recognized that. 2 straight heaters.
So 1 out in the 9th, and now Maben, who's had a terrific series. He's gone 2 for 4 tonight, and the 2 times he was retired, a line drive to second and then a shot to third his last time up that David Wright made a fine play on to turn into a fielder's choice. Isringhausen trying to join Mariano Rivera and Francisco Cordero as active pitchers with 300 saves.
Serious gap between 1 and 2, huh?
Little flare to second, and Turner's got it 2 down. Isringhausen broke Maben's bat. And now he's 1 out away. So the Padres down to their final out, and Jason Bartlett, who's 2 for 4 tonight, a single and a double, drove in a run in the 5th. that at the time gave the Padres a 3-2 lead. Padres led 4-2 until the bottom of the 8th, when the Mets scored 3 times to grab the lead, and Isringhausen trying to make it stand up. And Bartlett, first pitch swinging, hits it out to center field. Pagan is there, and the ball game is over. Jason Isringhausen pitches a 1-2-3 ninth for his 299th career save as the Mets rally for the second straight night with 3 in the 8th, and they beat the Padres 5-4.
Well, after devastating losses of Reyes and Murphy, this team has had 2 tremendous late inning come from behind victories, and this one started off by Pagan, who sparked the rally, the solo home run to lead off the 8th, and then followed by base hits by Turner and Wright. Terry Collins sacrificed with Duda, and then Spence came in and walked the ballpark.
Well, Isringhausen gets the job done in the 9th. Terry Collins continues to push every right button, and the Mets are back above 500 again. DJ Carrasco got out of a big jam in the top of the 8th. Runner at third and 1 out, got the job done. He winds up with his first win as a Met. And the Mets beat the Padres in come-from-behind fashion for the second straight night as you look at your New York Community Bank game summary. A happy bunch of Mets have taken the first 2 of the series from the Padres. They win it tonight with 3 in the 8th, 5-4 the final score. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.